Welcome, Michael.
Oh, thank you.
He's a member of the Red Cliff Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, and he's a Native American flute player and storyteller, and you've been playing for about 10 years now.
That's right.
And have traveled and played all over the country. We'll talk a little bit about all the places that you've played. He has with him, I'd say it's a large bag of flutes, and he's going to share with us some stories about the flutes and about his talent of flute playing and storytelling. Let's begin with how did you get started playing flute?
Well, it all happened about 10 years ago. I was a Native American artist making dream catchers since I was in Head Start. And I moved away from my homeland for a little while and was in the South. I was in South Carolina, and people were asking me about the Native culture. So I started to make dream catchers for these people. And seeing the great respect that they had, I kept going with the art. And I kept making Indian arts and crafts. And I made one dream catcher. It took me about 3 months to make. And I had traded it to a guy, to my brother-in-law, Brian Goodwin. I traded it to him, and he gave it to my sister for a gift. And in trading this, he gave me a flute. And with that flute, I then took it into the woods. I was living in the woods, no running water, just electricity, a couple miles out from anywhere, so there was no traffic, and it was pretty lonely, especially in the winter months. So I had my flute with me in the winter months to keep me company, and I started to play then in the woods. And I would walk out and just find a spot and just sit and play and learn. And with nobody there to tell me that I was holding the flute wrong or playing it wrong or blowing in it wrong notes, I was able to develop my own technique. And I had no ego attached to that because there was nobody around. Maybe just the spirits guiding me. And about 2 years into playing in the woods, I started to make my way from dancing around the trees to dancing around people on the street corners. And they would stop and they would tell me like how much this music was moving them. And I kind of thought it was funny at first, like it was my own little musical experiment to see how this music would be received. And it was received very, very well. So that just inspired me to keep playing and keep sharing what I had learned. And I had a daughter at the time. I still do with my daughter. She lives in Switzerland, but her family comes from Philadelphia, so I would travel with them to see the family, to see the relatives. And I would be stuck in airports, and I would play there, and bus stops and train stations, and wherever I could. I would be sitting in the corner, and I would pull out a flute, and I would start playing. I'd close my eyes, and when that happens, I'd just go right back to the woods. I come from the woods. That's where I'm from. I was raised there. I played there, right along on the shores of Lake Superior on Gitchigumi. Mm-hmm. And, so I would take this out into the world with me, and it was very, very well received out in the world. Mm. People who would come off the planes, they would be traveling from one gate to the next. Everybody's moving so quick that they just didn't take the time to appreciate their surroundings and their environment. So when I started playing in these places, a very funny thing started to happen. People started to slow down, and people stopped, and they listened, and they took a moment. And just in that moment, they took for themselves, and they took a piece of the music that was created in the woods, with them.
Can you share another song with us?
Sure. The next song I'll play, it will be on the first flute that I was given. And it's a early song, one of the first ones that I had first learned.